Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two straight rye whiskeys with no age statement. And what do we have? Well, here is Bulleit Rye. Bulleit Rye, introduced in 2011. They tell you right on the website since 2011. I wish other companies would do that. Give you some companies are good about that, like St. Arnold. They'll tell you even the month that the beer came out, like introduced November 2011 or whatever, and they'll be very specific. Others, they don't seem to care. I guess they figure most people are not interested in when it hit the market, but I am, so I want the companies to do that, but I guess I won't get my wish. Okay, let's see if it'll focus. 95 rye, 95% rye, 5% malted barley. So you got rye whiskey and barley whiskey, and almost all of it is rye. Man. It's produced in Indiana for Diageo. Diageo is a big company that owns, they're finally focused. Diageo is a big company that owns Bulleit. They bought it from Seagram's when Seagram's went out of business in the year 2000. And Seagram's had bought it from the Bulleit family. But anyway, Diageo, if you want to know, also owns Johnny Walker Whiskey Company. They own the Crown Royal Distilling Company. They own Guinness Beer Company. Well, Guinness really is Diageo. Diageo is the structure that owns all the subsidiaries, but Guinness started Diageo through a series of mergers. But anyway, and they own White Horse Whiskey, Lagavulin, single malt distillery. So they're big. Now here is Woodford Reserve. There's not much left, but don't worry, I got a second bottle. Woodford Reserve, 90.4 proof, a little higher proof. 53% rye, so it's only 53% rye, but at least they're telling you. Now, what's the other 47% of the grain, Matt? Yeah, the grain bill. Well, we don't know because they don't say. Could be corn, could be wheat, could be corn and wheat, could be corn and malted barley, could be corn and malted barley, could be corn and wheat and malted barley, could be wheat and malted barley. See what I'm saying? It could be anything. But it's over 51% rye, so it's allowed. Now, these are both straight rye. What does that mean? It means they're aged in new charred oak barrels. Well, any rye whiskey has to be aged in new charred oak barrels. Never mind that. No, to make it straight means it has to be aged in those barrels for at least 2 years. And all the whiskeys have to come from the same state. Could be from different distilleries, but got to be from the same state. And it can have no coloring or flavoring added. No coloring, no flavoring added. What about regular rye whiskey? Yeah, it can have coloring and flavoring added, and they don't have to tell you. I was reading the regulations. So I kept wondering, why is it's got smoke. Why is George Dickel rye not called straight rye? And now I know why. It's got to be that they're adding coloring or flavoring because it's aged at least 2 years, George Dickel rye. You know, it says distilled in Indiana and bottled in Indiana. So, well, anyway, that's another story for another day. So this has a cork. It's the particle board cork. This one has a real chunk of cork. It's not the particle cork. It's a real glob of cork. Wooden cap, metal cap, right? Plastic cap, sorry, plastic cap. Price, Woodford Reserve is more expensive than Dickel. Than Bulleit. I saw Bulleit at Total Wine and More on their website yesterday for $22.99. $22.99. Now most people got it about $24.99, but $22.99 at Total Wine and More. Very impressive. I did not find the Canadian whiskey I was looking for at Total Wine. I was looking for something called Potter's Crown. Nope, they didn't have it. The website said limited quantity. I said quality, limited quantities, but they didn't have it in stock. And the guy was like, "We haven't had that. We haven't gotten that in 2 years." Now he didn't say they didn't have it. He said the last time it came in was 2 years ago. I was like, "Oh well." So don't concern yourself about it. He didn't seem too concerned. So I bought a different Canadian whiskey. Anyhow, I bought something called Canadian Lake. Canadian Lake. Yep, introduced in 1961. But that's not going to be shown for, could be 2-3 years. Okay, Mr. R says, morning, can't go wrong with a Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, you can't go wrong watching it, but you might go wrong trying to do a blind taste test because it's easy to get them mixed up. You think you know, but you don't know, but you might know. Okay. Now, the Woodford Reserve is very cloudy at the bottom. A lot of these whiskeys, as you get lower in the bottle, you'll start seeing sediment and looks like yeast particles like you get with a beer. And I'm thinking it's probably not, is it chill filtered? Because it seemed like it would have gotten all that out of there. Bottle number 3,710, label batch number 13. Versailles, Kentucky. Yeah. Doesn't say anything about non-chill filter. Usually if it's non-chill filtered, they make a big production of it. This one is not chill filtered. But whatever the case, it's definitely full of sediment. This one's clear as a bell, but I'm not at the bottom of the bottle either, am I? I'm only 40% down. So I can't look because if I glance and see that cloudy copper, I'm going to know. So this is like cloudy copper and this is like amber here, the Bulleit. Brown-Forman. You may have heard of Brown-Forman. They own Old Forester bourbons, and the Old Forester is very famous. And they even make a pre-packaged, it's called Old Forester Mint Julep. It's like pre-mixed for you. They own Corbel Wine Company, Corbel Champagne Company, and Brandy Company. Corbel, can you believe it? Big company like that, they own it. Brown-Forman, yep. They own Woodford Reserve, which they started in 1986 as a kind of a revitalization of the old company that had been around, but it was dormant. That's when you want to buy something, when it's dormant, right? Distillers Select. I was seeing if they were showing the name of the guys that started Lavro and whatever. It's not on this bottle. And their biggest brand is Jack Daniels. You know how big Jack Daniels distillery is. So Brown-Forman bought Jack Daniels Company in 1956. Was not a recent buyout. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 1956. They've owned Jack since then. They've owned Jack Daniels. And they own the Glenglassaugh Scotch brand, Glenglassaugh Scotch, single malt Scotch, which I have. It's aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels. Wonder whose barrels those are. Okay, it's pretty good. Kind of bland, but it's good. It's pretty good. So, what does Woodford Reserve Rye sell for? Let's look at Total Wine and More because they're the easiest website to maneuver. Walmart's not too difficult, but Walmart gets kind of confused sometimes with their. All right, so Woodford Reserve. Woodford Reserve Rye Barrel Select, $50.99. Well, I'm not looking for Barrel Select. I'm just looking for the regular old rye. Oh, here we go, $32.99. I knew it was higher price than normal. Yeah. $32.99. Gets a 90 out of 100. And Bulleit Rye, yeah. $22.79. Oh, $22.79. I said $22.99. Okay, $22.79. That's a kind of an odd arrangement. So $10 cheaper. And it gets a 94. It's a 94. So it's a higher price, but it gets a higher score on their website. But I didn't pay that. No, people, I have to admit, I only paid $10 for the Bulleit Rye, full size bottles, not a little half bottle, 750 milliliters for $10. What about the Woodford Reserve Rye? Yes, I got 750 milliliters for $13.98. This is not a made up story. $13.98 for a full 750 milliliters of Bulleit Rye, and that was at Savannah. Discount on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound in Marrero, Louisiana. And the Bulleit Rye was $10 at Walmart on United States Highway 61 northbound. Okay, so it can happen, but the chances of it happening for you are basically zero, like winning the Powerball or the Mega Millions. It's really not going to happen. All right. But I guess in Louisiana, when you shop for liquor, you hit the Powerball every week. That's been my experience for the last 5 years. Rich oak and rye. Smells nice. Not so much of an aroma over here, a little faint rye. So I'm thinking the one that's richer is the Woodford Reserve, but I do not know because I have not tasted them and I'm just trying to feel my way through it right now. Let's go taste just. There's too much wood flavor in it for it to be Bulleit Rye. There's no way Bulleit Rye has that heavy wood barrel presence thing. So without a shadow of a doubt, and this tastes like a Brown-Forman yeast thing. I don't know what it is about Brown-Forman, but they got like this common flavor. Old Forester, Jack Daniels, even the Corbel California brandy. It's something like a common flavor. I don't know if it's the barrels, the char, the way they do the char, or if it's like yeast strains that they use. But it's kind of like when you drink in Miller beers, Molson Coors beers, Miller beers specifically, they have like this common flavor. So this is the Woodford Reserve. I knew it. I knew it. Next question, which one tastes better? Maxwell says, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Maxwell, in the Russian Federation. Liam Gillespie says, good morning, Jay. Currently eating waffles with Jimmy Dean sausage and Libby's corned beef hash and cold Guinness. Sound like a good breakfast to me. Bulleit Rye is one of my go-tos, great quality and price. It really is. $22.79 for a full bottle. Straight rye whiskey, 90 proof. 95% rye. Can't go wrong with that. I'm jealous, Liam, says Mr. R. Okay, now I am maybe a partisan for Brown-Forman. I do not work for Brown-Forman, and I do not receive any money from Brown-Forman. If I did receive money from Brown-Forman, I would be making their videos for their products probably 2 to 3 times a week, maybe more, depending on what kind of yayo they were sending me. But no, I have to admit, I've never received a single thing from Brown-Forman in my life. So people used to say, Budweiser's paying you. This was years ago. I said, if Budweiser was paying me, I'd do a video for them every day. Have you ever checked out a grocery outlet? All picked up at the bargain market under $11. Yes, we have the salvage store here in Jefferson Parish on Jefferson Highway. Yep, on Jefferson Highway, westbound in Jefferson Parish. The salvage store. Yeah, I bought big, not super size can, but big, good size cans of ranch style beans, the original flavor for 69 cents. I bought Gulden Drac Imperial Stout, 12% alcohol for 69 cents. I bought Gulden Drac Original for 69 cents. So you better believe I check out those grocery outlets, the salvage store. Are you kidding me? Yes, I do. My friend David found salted caramel whiskey. I think it's a liter bottle, but it could be a 750. But he gave it to me. He said, you going to buy it? I said, no, I got too many liqueurs now. But he bought it. $5. True story. $5 for salted caramel whiskey. Yeah, that bottle does seem bigger than normal, but I could just be a figment of my imagination. But what difference does it make if it's $7.50 and it's $5? That's the greatest deal in the world. $8 for a 12-pack of Rolling Rock. Yeah, see what I mean? Now, some of those stores, the dates will be very bad. Like the beer will either be out of date or close dated. If it's an Imperial Stout at 12%, the date doesn't matter. If it's Old Milwaukee beer at 4.5% alcohol, Old Milwaukee, common, low alcohol or mid-range alcohol beer, the date is imperative. It's imperative to look at that date because then you're going to get stale beer and it's going to taste bad. Now, we did get Lone Star Light. He did pick up some Lone Star Light that was out of date. And I said, I'm not turning on the camera because I don't want to say bad things about it. It's not fair to the product. And he was getting aggravated. My friend Dave was getting irritated. I said, well, I'm not going to make a video if it's old. I said, let's just taste it off camera. So we tasted it. And I was like, hey, it still tastes good. And I know Miller says their beers can be fine for up to a year after the Best By date. And I know Miller makes Lone Star beer at Miller Brewery in Fort Worth, Texas. So then I said, look, let's stop and we'll make the video. Just tell them we poured it already because it tastes fine, fresh, So we did, and it worked out. But I'm not playing around with old beers anymore. Unless they're, like I say, barley wines or imperial stouts. That's a different ballgame. I like the idea of taste challenges. I think I'll do my own sometime. Yeah, the taste challenge is very important, but it's got to be a blind taste test. Like I just did. If you do it with your eyes open and you're looking at each brand, that doesn't prove much of anything. I mean, you're tasting them fine, but if you really want to tell which is which and which you prefer, don't let yourself know which is which. And many times, maybe not half the time, but many times you'll get them confused. Kind of goes back to the old. Now this has less wood, so I prefer the wood one. So I'll take um, Woodford Reserve. Woodford Reserve. Oh, works out. I'm not saying I would pay $10 more though. I don't think it's $10 better. And I think I'm picking up that wood flavor because I'm at the bottom of the bottle. I got the second bottle in the other room. And it's never been opened. Just does seem to be a little higher quality now. And it's a lot lower rye. It's only 53% rye as opposed to 95%. Now, so do you lose a little quality on the Bulleit? It's got a little of that candy taste, sugar water thing, but I don't think you're losing much. And certainly not losing a $10 amount of quality, $10 level of quality. So I think with all things considered, your better option is to get the Bulleit Rye because you're going to save $10.20 at Total Wine, at least $10.20, and you're still going to have a high level rye product. But then on the other hand, why would I even do that when I could get it? I could get Sazerac rye for $19, $18.99, because they always got it on sale at some store around here for $18.99. So my real answer would be, well, I would get Sazerac rye for $18.99. Thank you. Definitely. Now I know Sazerac rye is sky high in other states. I hear people saying that they paid even $50 for it. I said never, 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 never. Around here, it's like I say. Over the earlier summer, they had it $17.99 at some stores. Now it's crept up to $18.99. But if you priced it here for $50, you'd never sell a bottle. If you priced it for $34, you'd never sell a bottle. And there really is nothing cheaper than that. So there's no use mentioning any other ryes because there aren't any that are lower than that I'm aware of. So that's my ultimate winner, Sazerac rye. It's as good as the rest, or nearly so, or nearly so, and I can get it for $18.99. So, end the story. Now, do I have a few more taste challenges coming up with Bulleit? Yes, I do. I can't remember which one it is. Bulleit is just a great, clean tasting whiskey. We'll never get tired of it. I know I can't see I would ever get tired of it. No. No. Let's see what's coming up next. Oh yeah, Jim Beam Rye. I had a devil of a time finding this thing. Jim Beam Rye. It's been on the market a long time. They changed it though. It used to be a yellow label and it was a different recipe. And I don't know. I guess they said they improved it. Total Wine had it for $17.49. Cheap, huh? But they didn't have it in stock. And no store in my town had it. I don't think Walmart carries it here. Matherns didn't have it. Winn-Dixie didn't have it. Well, Winn-Dixie might have had it, but they have it priced so high. It's like, no, I'm not paying $25 for this. So I said, well, if I run across it, I'll buy it. Now, I went on a trip to Texas last year. It was a fun trip, too. I went to a college baseball game, went on a trail in a national wildlife refuge, ate some good Mexican food, bought 2 bottles of liquor at Ralston's Liquor in Houston, and it was a good trip. Went on a tour of St. Arnold Brewing Company, drank beer at St. Arnold Brewing Company, so it was all around good. But I knew on the way back I was going to pass by Total Wine and More. On my way back, I know that there's a Total Wine and More right off the Interstate 10 in Baton Rouge. I said, you know what? If I'm making good time and I feel up to it, I'll stop there, because the website said it had it available at that. It was right off the interstate. So I said, but knowing me, they'll probably sell out before I get there. So I stopped, got right at lunchtime, got off I-10, went in Total Wine and More. There it was. I said, yep, $17.49. So of course I bought it. Then I went to another Mexican restaurant on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and just got a to-go plate. And oh, it was so good. Oh man, that food was fire. That food was fire. So I was eating it in the car on the way back here. But of course I was careful. I put the styrofoam plate there, and I was, trying to let people eat in my car, because they don't care. Like a lot of people that eat in your car, they be spilling stuff everywhere. I'm like, you might eat in your car like that. You're not eating in my car like that. If it's my car, I can eat in my own car, because I know I'm going to be careful. And if something happens, it's my fault. I got to blame me. But I'm careful, so usually nothing happens. But other people, no way. The one guy was telling me, I guess I can't smoke in your car. I said, you guess right. Bulleit Rye got me through a agonizing tooth infection years ago. It helped with the pain for sure. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's interesting. Maybe probably safer than, well, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dietitian or expert of any sort. But I'm glad it worked out. All right. So this was a great taste challenge. And like I said, no preference to Woodford Reserve. Tomorrow, which is Friday, we got Jim Beam Rye to close it out, and then it's on to bourbon. Rye is going to take a rest for probably till next year, and bourbon. And I have a very exciting bourbon coming up from Lux Road Distilling. It's called Davies County Bourbon. Now, if you look at the bottle carefully, it says bottled for Lux Road Distilling. They're just now getting their distillery rolling, so a lot of their stuff is being sourced, but they had to build it first, which they did. And so eventually it's going to all say distilled by Lux Road Distilling, distilled and bottled by. But it's just a matter of getting this camera to focus. It's just a matter of getting that thing off the ground. This camera can really drive me nuts. What do you got going on the rest of the day? What you meant to write? What do you have going on the rest of the day? Beer, reading, shopping for deals, videos. Yeah, beer for sure. I'm going to do a review of a revisit video for Dragon's Milk White Stout, which I did 4 years ago, 2019. I did it before the scamdemic started. And it's a stout in name only. Obviously, it's a strong golden ale, 6%. But whatever, they want to call it stout. I mean, people call everything else IPAs. Like somebody said, they'll call daiquiri beers IPAs, but it's mostly like, it tastes like a daiquiri. And they use fruit flavors, and some of them they'll just say with fruit flavor, and they say it's IPA. No, it's a daiquiri beer. Yeah, I get that. Like Fruit Force and Juice Force. Yeah, it's not really IPA in any reasonable sense of the word. But if they want to call it a white stout, fine. It's like a black IPA. Yeah, a black pale ale. My buddy. Back in the 1980s, chain smoked Pall Malls and wanted to light up in my car with the windows rolled up so his hair wouldn't get ruined. I said, not happening in my car. Yeah, people are really crazy in a way, or aloof to reality. Like if it's their property, they're very, very persnickety about it. If it's their house or their car, they're very careful in every way. If it's your property and your vehicle, you just uptight. You need to relax. Well, they're saying that because it doesn't belong to them. I know this kind of personality. I know this type of person, and I don't like it. Okay. Thanks for watching, and see y'all tomorrow for one last rye whiskey taste challenge, and then it's on to Davies County double mash bill 86 proof Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. That is going to be great. That thing is fire.